Hello, MMA fans. This is Kaz here with Mo. Mo, how are you doing?
Good, Kaz. How are you? Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
not too bad. Anytime, brother. So today we're gonna basically be going through the UFC Fight Night. We're gonna discuss some other stuff as well in between as well. After we go through the Fight Night, we're gonna start from the top of the card as well. And then I don't know, you were saying something before we got started about them being friends, and I don't know if you saw the clip on the media day, but like because what's his name? Aljamain Sterling's been doing a lot of like interviews with a lot of media and stuff like that. And it's been pretty interesting to see as well. And the other thing I noticed as well is like, he did a couple interviews. He did one with like the Mighty Cast for the Mighty what do you call it, Demetrius Johnson, and it was pretty cool. I always thought of Aljamain Sterling as like a whiner. I would always think like he's whining about everything, but he's kind of grew on me a lot recently with his like latest like media tour for this week. I don't know how you feel about him or Zalal.
I've always liked Sterling. I think we all know that he's a close fan. He's a close friend of Rob.
Mm-hmm.
They train together, and I've always liked him for who he is. He's an amazing grappler, to say the least. But again, Zalal is very talented. I really respect his work. He's Moroccan. I'm Egyptian. We're both African. We're both North African. So I gotta, like he's representing us.
Yeah,
I do think it's an excellent matchup. He's a
yeah,
bit quiet, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes you don't really hear too much from Zalal, I'm not gonna lie. Like he doesn't talk shit that much. Unlike Sterling, we see Sterling. Honestly, I think this is the most I've seen Sterling like be open with like the press. He's just been doing a lot of interviews, a lot of media. Like you said, Demetrius Johnson, he hopped on his podcast, talked about training camp and so yeah, I mean, it looks fire. I really like both of them. They're both very respectable around the whole community. I don't think they have any haters, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting because I was trying to look on our show notes because Zalal and Sterling kind of like sort of like indirectly made some jabs at each other.
Mm-mm.
He said training with this guy like Youssef before, a big brother is going to prevail and show him it's not his time yet. It's still the Funk Master's time. So he said that towards like Youssef, and then he also said Youssef is good, but I didn't have to get a cut and make my way back. He did two different types of mental attitudes, and I was just kind of like, damn, like was that like a subtle dig towards like Youssef? So yeah, but then he said, yeah, it was all love.
Yeah, we could see. He even during the podcast with Demetrius, he literally said it. He was like, when I was back from vacation, Zalal's choked me out. He subbed me. He gave him like credit to his like submission work and his submission offenses. So I think it's all love. It's nothing. Obviously, you got to separate the friendship when you go into a fight with a friend. But at the end of the day, I think they both really respect each other and like, they have a good friendship together.
Yeah, Zalal said I plan to try to get him out of there and squeeze his head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting though because you have like this person who was like the bantamweight champion, right, at one point, and then
Mm.
it's funny because I don't know if you remember, but like right after the RAF 06, he did he did a media scrum with MMA fighting, and he got really like upset, and he was like, "Dudes, like the UFC, like why do you ask me questions, and if you don't give me the like opponent, then why did you ask me the question in the first place?" He got really upset, and I like that
Mm.
from him. I liked a little bit of that fire as well. And I think all of a sudden, like his personality is starting to shine a little bit more than it has in the past. And I'm glad that he's making those changes because like I kind of like diss him on my channel the way I would like, not on like not in a hater way, but just more of like because I always think about the marketing side of it, the entertainment aspect of it. I know you think more about the purist side of it, and you're more of like
Mm-hmm.
the sport itself. But I think they have to have the two, right? Because it's like in marketing, we say if you don't have any attention at the top of the funnel, then there's no one that's gonna be at the bottom of the funnel, right? To actually convert to actual like leads or whatever the case is, right? So like in this sort of aspect, it's kind of like if you don't have people like even Ronda Rousey. I did a video on this recently where Ronda Rousey was talking about like fighters don't they're not just to fight for the sake of fighting, but they're there to like actually sell the fights as well, and that's part of their job, but they don't see it that way. So it's like difficult sometimes. And I don't know what your thoughts are on this because I know you do jujitsu and stuff like that, but like,
To
yeah,
be fair, at the end of the day, I feel like when you go into a fight as a fighter, not your number one should not be entertaining people. Your number one should be winning that fight. Keep in mind, this is like all they do. They don't have another job. They don't have a backup plan. You got to give it your all. You got to fight to fight. You got to at one point, if you're competing for like a belt, you got to fight to kill. You're going to that mindset. You're going to fight to
yeah,
kill. So I think, to be fair, I don't think fighters should look at that entertainment style, I feel like they should fight to fight. Like if I'm going to a jiu-jitsu comp, I'm not there to please the crowd and show off flying arm bars or flying triangles. I'll pull guard if I have to. I don't need to wrestle. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to win the match, to win the fight, you know what I mean? And if there's a lot of money behind that, I'm not sure if, entertainment is supposed to be the number one, like the number one thing on their mind, They should be just focused on winning that fight, beating their opponent. Yeah, if they want to entertain their fans, just like Marab does, that's perfect. That's better for better for the UFC, better for marketing, better for all that. But sometimes you just gotta have someone like, you gotta just lock in, get that win and get out. That's it.
Yeah, just to clarify though, like I didn't mean that like winning's not all of it as well. I think it's like a double-edged sword, right? It's like the winning aspect of it, also the
Mm.
fight and the entertainment aspect of it. Like the thing that comes to mind, like the most recent thing with Josh Hokett, right? Like him going into that press conference, and then you saw how like Curtis Blades was like, oh, during the media scrum, I'm not going to engage with the guy. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And then now he's doing like a bunch of media after the fight, and they both became really popular. But it was because Josh Hokett and like even like Paulo Costa, right? Like he went and he talked so much shit against that like undefeated fighter, and so did like Josh Hokett, and they both stacked the odds, and they both stacked like so much tension in the air. And that's a big thing, right, with marketing as well. Like when we create content, I'm always looking for like how can I create a hook that creates some sort of tension or challenges a belief. And so that's what I liked about it, is that you're creating so much tension between the two fighters that
Mm.
people are going to be more invested in like who's going to win this fight. And then you have that guy come out like Josh Hokett, and he had such a beautiful performance, right? Maybe a little bit sloppy, but at the same time, he got the dub, right? And then you have like Paulo Costa, who I love anyways. And then on top of that, he wins that fight against like an undefeated prospect, dude. Like and now it makes you even a bigger fan of them as well. And if you look at like the whole thing with Sean Strickland, right? Like Sean Strickland shouldn't technically be getting that title fight, but he is over like Nasruddin Imavov because of the fact that he sells to the crowd and he calls a shot. Like you also have like Mike Malott, right? He had a decent performance. I thought it was okay, but he didn't call his shot afterwards. So like there's no conversation about his performance after. It's more about like, oh, Gilbert Burns just retired instead of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that does make sense, especially with the Josh Hokett for sure. I mean, Josh Hokett just, dude, he talked so much shit and caused so much drama. It got him a fight on the Freedom card.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
realize that, like he wouldn't have been on the White House card if not for all his bullshit of just stirring up shit with Yuri, which I don't know why he did that, and no, it was pretty fire, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I definitely see your point.
Yeah, I actually thought that was hilarious too, because like Yuri's like getting like taking it, and I think that's the other thing too, is I think a lot of the fighters take it too personal. Like
Mm-mm.
Curtis Blades, I thought took it way too personal. He goes, "I hate that guy," because they saw each other in the hospital afterwards, and he was like, "Oh, I hate that guy." I told the doctor to like take me away from him or whatever, Josh or whatever. and then Yuri got really like upset too, right? At the like
Yeah.
the what was it, the press conference, and then he was like, "Oh, who's Josh Hokett?" Right? Like to try to diss him essentially. But in my head, it's like you can't take it personal. It's like, but I love that, like how Conor McGregor, like he did that to Jose Aldo, whatever his name is, and he just knocked him out in that title fight when Jose Aldo was like one of those most incredible fighters in the world.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, bro, sorry. I know we were supposed to get into it quicker.
No, you're good. You're good.
So let's get into it. I had a very different feeling coming into this fight week with like Aljamain Sterling versus Youssef Zalal. I'm like split between the two of them. I kind of want both of them to win at this point, and it's kind of 50-50 more for me at this point. I would love to see Youssef Zalal win because I just think the story behind it, the story arc, and like the 8-fight win streak going to
Mm.
9, I think that'd be incredible, especially in the UFC, and him fighting Ilia Topuria, who's a current like champion at lightweight. But then having Aljamain Sterling being a former bantamweight champion and getting the dub over Youssef Zalal, and then and hopefully getting the title shot over who's that guy who just fought? I don't know. This whole featherweight division is exciting for me, honestly. Like the
Yeah.
whole featherweight division.
I mean, to me as well, it's almost like a 50-50 chance. Man, I love both of them, right? I feel like they're both Zalal is a grappler, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Zalal is actually let me double check my show notes because I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Zalal
yeah.
is more of a striker, if I'm being honest with you. But let me tell you right now. Hold on one second. Huh? Yeah, so basically, oh my god, Nah, I think he's more of a striker. Let me
It
double check.
honestly,
I am so bad. I thought I prepped for this call, but I'm glad you pointed this out because it's a good thing to know. I mean, so Aljamain Sterling has a 25-5 record at number
yeah,
6. Youssef Zalal is at number 13 with an 18-5-1 record. I'm just taking a look at what his dominant style is, and it
for
says
sure.
so. Yeah, he's more of a grappler. He has more submissions.
Yeah,
It
so
seems
that's
like
what I
I
thought.
think he's
That's
more
what
of
I
a
thought.
grappler. Yeah, but this is cool because it's grappler versus grappler, and I didn't mean to cut you off real quick, but I just wanted to say one more thing. I noticed that like Aljamain Sterling keeps teasing that he wants to do more striking, and he's been working on his striking. And even Ray Longo was on the Anakin Florian podcast, and he was talking about that as well. And I thought that was interesting because I was not expecting that. And I don't find not to like throw shade at Sterling, but I don't find his grappling very fun to watch. Or sorry, his not his grappling, his striking. I
Striking.
find it kind of like annoying to watch.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a classic grappler versus grappler. All due respect, Sterling, you're 5'7", Zalal is 5'10", 3-inch difference. That makes a lot.
That's what she said. Yeah,
That means Zalal's reach is higher. So,
yeah,
dude, stick to your wrestling, stick to your grappling roots. Don't, when these fighters try to mix up new shit, it never ends up well. Look at there was a classic. Who was it? It was almost like Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Paddy
yeah,
Pimblett is
yeah.
insane at jiu-jitsu. Really, he's a black belt. He's a fucking black belt. You stick to your jiu-jitsu. You're going against Justin Gaethje. This guy is so, you can never predict his moves, so it's almost the same thing. You stick to your wrestling, you stick to what you're best at, and you'll win the fight. When you try new shit, especially against like a fighter that's taller than you, that has a greater reach, that means jabs are going to be hurting you. There's just so much more moves, and Sterling's an ex-champ, so he's definitely more experienced. He knows the game really, really well. Yeah, they have the same amount of losses, 5-5. Still, Sterling has more wins than Zalal. And I can see right now that Sterling's actually the underdog in this fight. So I don't know. To me, I think I'm gonna pick my boy Youssef Zalal. He's Moroccan, I'm Egyptian. He's representing us North Africans, so I'm picking Zalal. I'm sure he's hungry for that fight. He's hungry for that. He wants to climb up the rankings, but yeah, I can see him being super locked in and winning that fight. And I think it's gonna be like a submission win, to be honest.
Yeah, I really like that what you just shared because I do see like I don't know. I just think Yusuf Zalal is like a really fascinating fighter. He has the hype already. I think the
Mm,
opening odds was like plus 170 for Yusuf Zalal, and minus 200 for Aljamain Sterling. And I know currently it's like I think currently they're saying it's minus 145, and Aljamain Sterling is at plus 120.
mm.
Yeah, so sorry, FanDuel is the one currently that says minus 145 for Yusuf Zalal and plus 120 for Aljamain Sterling. DraftKings has him at minus 125 for Yusuf Zalal and plus 105 for Aljamain. Best fights odds, they have something similar as well. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? Because I do think, like, since you're going to go with Yusuf Zalal, I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling, which I never thought I'd ever say. Jesus Christ. I don't know. What I liked about Yusuf Zalal is like, I just find him very mature and also like he's very like detached to the outcome, if that makes sense. Because I was listening to some of his like interviews and stuff like that that he did recently, and I thought they were pretty good. He even has his own YouTube channel as well, which I thought he was doing pretty well with. And he just seemed to have like the right mindset about everything, in my opinion. So coming in, I think he has like the perfect mindset. I think Aljamain Sterling's still kind of like almost too attached to the outcome because I actually think in the back of his mind, he's thinking that like if he doesn't win this fight, he's possibly going to retire. He even said a couple times as well, like, and I'm still going to pick him, but he still even said a couple times that like I have my work cut out for me. So it's like the confidence level between him and between Zalal, they're both very different. But yeah, have you been to Morocco, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Never, never. But I have a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
friends there, and I heard it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I went in 2017, but we had like an issue because we went there and I went with a bunch of family. And then I was a little bit younger back then. And what
Mm,
happened was we arrived and then the place that we booked our stay at didn't have like the rooms available till like 6 7 hours later or something. I don't
oh
remember the
shit.
exact thing because it was so long ago, but there was like 12 or 14 of us, so it was a lot of people. And the issue was that because I used to live in the UK, remember? So like we just went from the UK to Morocco, and then we ended up getting like I think an Airbnb at that point, And then it was just such a thing. But there was this one place I went to go eat, and it was so nice, and the food there was so
Moroccan food's
incredible.
gas. Moroccan food's gas, I'm telling you.
Yeah, honestly, even the females, they're pretty gas too. But yeah, that was another time. Okay, so we're done with that fight. We got the next one: Norma Dumont versus Jocelyn Edwards, or Jocelyn Edwards. Sorry, Norma Dumont's obviously 13-2. 17-6 is Jocelyn Edwards. They're both coming off of wins. One's from Panama, the other one's from Brazil. One's 5'7", Norma Dumont, and Jocelyn Edwards is 5'8", both at 135 pounds bantamweight. Essentially, Jocelyn has the 3-inch reach advantage and also the half-inch leg reach advantage as well. Right now it says minus 240 odds, plus 195. My thoughts on this, just real quick, if I can share this, is because I went to the UFC Houston card with Colin, and what happened was her fight, I was like, oh, we can just skip it and go grab food or whatever. And so we did, and then she ended up getting the submission win, and I was like, fuck, that was like one of the first finishes on that prelim card. And then on top of that, when I've been watching her fight as a fan, I've seen her have performances in the beginning where I was like, I could see her have the potential, but she couldn't seem to figure out how to just put it together. And then there was one fight, and I don't remember which fight this was. I think I have it in the show notes, but there was one specific fight where she ends up losing the decision, and I'm like, that was a fucking robbery. Because it was the first fight of the night, no one talked about it, but it was a fucking super. It was 100% a robbery. It was terrible. Is on a 6-fight win streak as a decision machine. But I don't know if you noticed this. Edwards actually trains with Eric Nixick, coming off a robbery versus Podolova, plus the Houston card with power versus volume. Basically, that's what they're saying. This in my fight notes. That's what this card is basically about. What are your thoughts?
I don't know much about both fighters, I'm not gonna lie. Fuck, I mean, Edwards looks like a badass, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when it's a close fight, it all just comes down to stats. Who's taller, who has a better reach, who's a better striker. Southpaw, orthodox. But you're saying Dumont is a grappler, she got the submission win? Or was it Edwards, I guess, the submission win?
Yeah, so I think Dumont is more of a wrestler, and I think the Jocelyn Edwards is more of a striker. But the thing is with these ones, so Norma Dumont's number 4, and then Jocelyn Edwards number 6. I think what happens is if Norma Dumont ends up winning this fight, she gets the title shot at bantamweight after obviously Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes fight, unless they do the second matchup. And Jocelyn Edwards number 6, obviously. So Norma Dumont's 13-2, and Jocelyn Edwards is 17-6. I like Eric Nixick's camp, honestly. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if it's the fighters or their camp, or their training facility, but sometimes these fighters don't seem to show up on the night that they need to show up, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
It's all very
subjective, right?
Subjective, exactly. It's very subjective. By Eric Nixick, I mean, fuck, you got Eric Nixick, he trains Sean Strickland, right?
Yeah, who's gonna
fight Khamzat. He's gonna get fucking
He's gonna beat Khamzat's ass. Huh? Sorry.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, they look like both very good fighters. I might take the fighter that has a very highly respected coach and someone that has a lot of reputation to them. So I'm actually gonna lean towards Jocelyn Edwards. When you're ranked number 6, when you're not really up there, usually there's a pattern where all these fighters are starving, they're hungry, and I feel like if she beats Dumont, that's her shot right there. That's her.
Yeah.
That's it. People are gonna start noticing her. She's obviously gonna be top 5.
Yep. Yeah.
So
most likely.
I think that hunger, the that need for power. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Jocelyn Edwards for this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the immortal, Norma Dumont.
Okay.
You know why I say that is just because she's a Libra. She's born in October, so I like that part.
This guy.
Also, but also I think she's just she's a beast, bro. Yeah, she's a beast. She doesn't talk much, when we're talking about the other aspects of creating more tension between the fighters, and stuff like that. She doesn't really do that really well, but neither does Edwards either. I honestly could see Edwards winning this fight if I'm being honest with you, but I can also see Norma Dumont just what would the score be? 30-27 her. I didn't say that right. You know what I mean? But getting like a 30-27,
Yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
over Edwards. But yeah, let's go into the next one because I'm more
For
excited about
sure.
this one actually, if I'm being honest. And Alexander Hernandez essentially had like this issue with the previous fight card, so he actually was accused of fixing the fight that he had previously, and then he had to go through all this like hoops and stuff like that to go ahead and be back into the UFC and make sure he can continue his career here. And then obviously you have Rafa Garcia, who just came out of who's coming out of Cub Swanson's gym as well, and
Mm.
Cub Swanson just retired, so that was pretty cool. And he had an incredible performance against that guy. I forgot who his name is, but Garcia is basically more of a sub heavy grinder. It is like the Great Ape, an explosive win streak, but huge storyline. Last fight canceled fight day over betting irregularities and fixing accusations. He's also been vocal this week about like fighter protections and stuff. He said first time someone's been falsely accused, no one is protecting the individuals. So it's basically a massive prove it spot for him. And his previous finishes were like Ferreira and Chase Hooper, which Chase Hooper is not really a good one. Yeah, thoughts on that fight?
Fuck, I mean, yeah, that's crazy. Honestly, this man, there's been going a lot of shit with like betting and I remember like was it two fight cards, not fight cards, but
Mhm.
like two numbered UFC events. Michael
Yeah.
Johnson, was it Michael Johnson that had his card pulled?
No, I think there was speculation about it, but then I forgot the other two you're referring to, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like yeah. I told Colin to stop doing this because he's messing everything up. Like the UFC is gonna catch him eventually. No, I'm just joking.
yeah.
No, but like, imagine he's watching this. Like, what the fuck?
He's like, yeah, what the fuck? But I don't know. Obviously, having your card pulled last fight or like last card because of, and you're claiming to be falsely accused. So that means he needs to prove something. And like you said, he's explosive. He has two finishes on decently good fighters. I think I have Alexander Hernandez on this one. And the guy looks
Yeah, me
buff
too.
as fuck. Like
Yeah,
that guy is on steroids. 100%.
yeah. I don't know about that part, but okay, I do have him as well because I just think that like I think Rafa Garcia is good, but I haven't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Rafa Garcia in some sort of way. Nothing against him
Mm,
personally. I don't know. I like Alexander Hernandez. I like the fact that he's in that 4 fight win streak. He has
mm,
this is the first time he has that type of momentum as well. And listening to a lot of his interviews, he just seems very kind of like Youssef Zalal, very mature and very like stoic in his mindset as well. And a lot of esoteric like stuff he's throwing out there that and he was the one who actually said that like he goes, I try to like release myself from the outcome or from like the expectation of the outcome,
mm,
and
mm,
just kind of detach like from everything and just focus on the moment. And he's really he likes the challenge with Rafa Garcia, but he said he's really interested in performing. And I think if you can perform in the fight, and he wants to make it look like an artist like painting his canvas, I think if he can
mm.
perform really really well, I think a lot of people. Like, I think this is actually one of the spots where he can become really a fan favorite if he does a really good performance in this one.
Oh yeah, oh
This
yeah.
is
I
a good fight
mean, you
card.
just said it perfectly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude, Davey Grant, bro, versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. Um, just real
guy's
quick
still
to give you
fighting.
some context on these guys. Davey Grant basically is a 40-year-old vet versus grinder versus like the undefeated prospect. So it's more of an experience test. I've heard some stuff about Martinetti in the past. I'm trying to see what I have on my show notes as well. But do you know anything about these two fighters?
I know Davey Grant has been in the game for so long. No, I know he's good. He's not, from what I've heard, is he's not a really explosive fighter.
Yeah, sorry. Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's not like he's very technical. That's the right word.
Davey?
He's very yeah, yeah. Davey's very technical with it. Adrian, I don't think I've never heard of him. I mean, he's an undefeated prospect. He looks pretty good. Adrian has the reach advantage, 71 to 69.
Yeah. 69.
Oh,
Hey, just real quick, so I just wanted to pull this up because this is his Tapology. So it
mm,
says he's got 15 wins, current streak is 15 wins. It says over here, last fight was October 7th, literally a week before my birthday, 2025, on the Dana White Contender Series. He's from Ecuador, which I noticed there's a lot of Ecuadorian, like we have that Michael Morales, obviously Chito
yeah.
Vera, yeah, who can't really, he's a frustrating fighter to watch. Sorry. He's got 41% of his wins by decision, 35 by submission, and 24 by KO TKO, which is interesting. Yeah, I guess this gives us a little bit more context about this dude. So yeah, he's got obviously the upcoming bout, which is Davey Grant. He made a win towards Mark Vologden. Dude, Vologden's the one that just fought this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken. No,
Oh, he did. Yeah, yeah,
dude, that guy looks so good. And if he has a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
unanimous decision win over him, that's interesting. And then this was a canceled bout, but then he fought Jesus Flores. Okay, looks like there was a stoppage due to injury shoulder. And then Giovanni Meza, I don't know who this guy is either. But yeah,
He
a
looks
lot of
pretty good.
cancel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he looks pretty decent. Yeah, he's got this one loss to Luigi Quezza.
Is it
2017 though, so that's like doesn't even count 2 year fair. Yeah, it sounds like he's got a lot of momentum. Davey Grant, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes with Davey Grant, he's kind of hit and miss. I think sometimes. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like, yeah. Who are you picking on this one?
I think I got Davey, to be honest. Like, let me see where.
So Davey Grant, just so you know, he is 40 years old.
I know, but sometimes they fight hard, bro.
That's what
Oh
she
shit,
said.
so Davey Grant's from Darlington. Do you know where that
Which
is?
part? Arlington?
Darlington. Yeah.
Darlington?
So that's like a bit,
No.
it's like a bit north-ish.
Okay. Yeah, of England.
So, yeah, it's like,
Where
yeah.
is it close
So
to?
it's
Like Manchester or Birmingham?
no, no, no. It's in Middlesbrough. It's like Newcastle-ish. So
Okay, that's where one of
it's
my
very
friends are
north. Really?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, my friend who got me
Yes.
into marketing, he's from Newcastle. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So they have some good fighters over there, bro. I'm not gonna lie with you. I might have, yeah, I think I have Davey Grant.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go the opposite then. I'm gonna go Adrian Luna
This
Martinetti.
guy.
Uh well, just to make it more interesting as well, so then we can when we do like a recap or whatever, or I do the recap, I can like share with them who we picked and who won.
If I
Yeah.
win, if I win on the picks, I take over the channel for good.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sounds
All right,
good.
bet. Bet.
Yeah, love it. Dude, I've been like just like I was posting a lot this week and then I got really busy with work and stuff, but I like posted like 4 or 5 videos in a row, like long form videos. And it was pretty cool and like the channel like analytics went up a little bit higher. And thank you for those of you who subscribed as well. And thank you for those of you who like been giving me a lot of love and shout outs and stuff. We're at like 72 subs right now. I just want to get to like 100. And
Oh
I
yeah.
was telling Ollie that we can do a live as well together and have like a threesome on the live. Sorry, do it like a threesome of the live. Sorry, my bad. Um, dude, just real quick, I don't know. I posted something yesterday, like, and this is just away from this whole topic, but like Khamzat Chimaev, like I heard some like rumors from MMA on X about him possibly pulling out of the fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Sorry, against Sean Strickland. And I was like, bro, fuck me, man. I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, he squashed those apparently.
Oh yeah. No, we're good. We're chilling.
Dude, I really like this fight, if I'm being honest with you. So, you know, honestly, that Ronnie Barcelos guy, he had that, like, I think he lost his, no, he did win his last fight, but he had that against Peyton Talbot, that, like, upset, where he beat Peyton Talbot through the grappling and stuff like that. And then you have Montel Jackson. Dude, like, for me, I think Montel Jackson, and both of them are really good fighters. You know, what's it called? Montel Jackson, I think he's, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think his age is, like, 33. He's 5'10", same 5-inch reach. He's a southpaw as well with a 15-3 record. It's like size and reach advantage with athletic KO power as well. It's more of like the athletic freak versus the veteran, savvy veteran. But Ronnie Barcelos is not just like any savvy veteran. He's like a very fucking savvy veteran who's 38 years old, 5'7", 67-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 21-5 record. I think he has an incredible record, by the way. He had that massive unanimous decision win over the undefeated prospect Peyton Talbot, which I heard he's having some issues with the UFC, by the way, at UFC 311 in January 2025. But he dominated him with pressure and grappling, like we spoke about earlier. And he got 8 out of 15 takedowns, bro, with 9+ minutes of control time. So he shut down the hype train, essentially. So it's like a Brazilian grappling vet versus like a Jackson-sized veteran proving he's still elite. But one of the most respected gatekeepers in bantamweight wins over big names and now like more of a prize prospect, so to speak. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Montel Jackson all the way.
Ooh,
Like you have like a win over Payne Talbot, right? Payne
Mm-hmm.
Talbot is still young, not experienced, new to the game, but you give him Montel Jackson, bro. Montel Jackson's a fucking beast. I've seen his fights. That guy is genuinely a beast. Not only that, look at the reach advantage. I mean,
Yeah,
75 to 67, that is insane. That is 7 inches of reach right there. That guy's a freak. He's freakishly long. If Jackson just
yeah,
keeps the distance with his jabs, with his crosses and his hooks, he's got it easily. He might even get a KO. However, you said 8 out of 15 takedowns, right? And Barcelos is a really good
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu grappler. But that's the thing. Usually, you know me, I go for the grappler. I say grappler always beats the striker. But in this case, when the striker has such a reach advantage and such a height and size advantage, it's harder for him to take him down. It's much, much harder. And especially when there's a lot going on, you're not really focused on the takedown as much. You know, you're focused on not getting knocked out by a hook or an uppercut or a knee
Mm-hmm.
against someone that long, someone that tall. I have Montel Jackson. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so Montel Jackson is a Libra as well, just so you know. But also, Ronnie Balselo's birthday is coming up soon, like on May 1st, and he's gonna be turning 39. So he's hitting like that. He's going past that like father time, so to speak, which is fascinating. And I don't know, man. This one's hard for me because I want to go against what you said, Montel Jackson, but I also feel like Montel Jackson can get the dub quite easily as well. But Ronnie Balselos is. And I like what you said also about him versus Peyton Talbot. Like Peyton Talbot, I think kind of started smoking his own crack, so to speak, or his own ass cheek, whatever. I don't know if you saw that where he did the vape and he
Yeah, yeah.
held it out of his ass. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna go the same way. I think I'm gonna go the same direction. Montel Jackson. I hope both of us are right because if we're not, fuck me, man. But yeah. I guess I'll go. What do you think? Is it like he just strikes him out like a unanimous decision for the 3 rounds?
Most likely it's gonna be a decision
Yeah.
win. I'm not gonna lie, like I wouldn't bet on KO. I feel like this fight I would just not bet on it at all since it's very 50-50 and very close. But I do think it's gonna end up the decision unless Jackson just can beat on that leg over and over again and then just, get that KO in.
Yeah, the only concerning thing that I'm looking at on his like Tapology is that it says 53% of his wins, Montel Jackson specifically, is by KO or TKO. However, all his losses are by decision. So if Ronnie Barcelos was to actually like win the fight, he would have to win it by decision during the grappling on the. It could be like an exciting fight, to be honest with you, or it could be a
A
really
hug fest.
incredible, huh?
It could be a hug fest.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. The
Yeah.
crotch sniffing fest. Yeah. All right, dude. This one I think has a lot of like storylines behind it. Ryan Spann from like light heavyweight, Marcus Buchecha. The last fighter he fought was the one who got like dropped from the UFC as well. But yeah, you got Marcus Buchecha at age 36, 6'2" to 6'3" with 77-inch reach. He's 5-2-1 in the UFC or in MMA so far. He's the BJJ GOAT, so I know who you're going to pick already. 10 times 80cc world champion. Submission monster, 80% wins by sub as well. Debut loss to Martin Budai, who's the one who got dropped by the UFC. And yeah, that was just so crazy to me. And it was really sad. And even Buchecha publicly said it was really sad. He was really sad about that. But he's got the fascinating BJJ to MMA transition still building, which I think hopefully he can close the gap on this performance. It's basically pure grappling versus like size and power, essentially. I don't know. Ryan Spann, Superman's age 34, 6'5", with a 79-inch reach, 23-11 record. I always thought I always saw him as like I always thought he had like a lot of potential, especially because he said he wasn't like he wasn't before. He also said he wasn't like, what do you call it, like training really well. But he's a long-time light heavyweight, basically, who moved up right to heavyweight, and then yeah, I don't know. He's got. I don't know. I heard like Alexander Rakic is rumored to move up to heavyweight as well as Robert Whitaker going from middleweight to light heavyweight. I heard already is also eyeing like light heavyweight as well. But yeah, heavyweight's kind of getting flooded with these new fighters coming up from light heavyweight. It's more of like a tall striking threat versus like Buchecha, who's like a legendary submission artist.
Brother, give me Buchecha every day of the week. Every day of the week. You don't understand how hard it is to become an 80cc champ. You said 10 times? 10-time 80cc champion.
Yeah, unless my show notes were wrong. That's what it said, yeah.
I'm betting the whole house on him. Genuinely. And you best believe it's going to be by submission. If he can just close that distance, get that takedown, work the ground, especially heavyweights, bro. Heavyweights they get gassed up super easily. They get super tired. End of the round, he's going to be, they're both, Ryan's probably going to be like, Spawn's probably going to be like flopping around, arms down.
I just imagine a fish like popping.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's how they are, bro. Their cardio is terrible. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really easy for Buchecha to just get that takedown and work on his submissions right away. So give me that easily.
Yeah, I also think Ryan Spann has an issue with submissions as well because I don't know if you remember, but like Anthony Smith submitted him in their first fight. I think he even
Mm.
submitted him in the second fight as well. I'm not too sure, but if he's improved at all his takedown defense or any submission defense, I think he has a better chance. But to go to more on your point about like the difficulty, like just because I know you're like a seasoned grappler. I don't know how many years have you been grappling?
2 3 years.
2 3 years.
Yeah.
Damn, you're competing quite quick. Yeah, so I like just to like give you some context on mine. Like I started out when I was living in England like almost a decade ago, and I would just like sprinkle in classes. I wouldn't be very consistent with it, but this has been like the kind of issue my entire time because I've been doing it. And there's one point where I did go to uh jiu-jitsu like more regularly, which is quite recent, like in 2023, 2024. But even then I just found it so hard to like be good at it. And all I remember is my last class was like against like some newbie who just came in for his first day, and then I was just messing around, and like the very little stuff I knew I was just trying to get rear naked chokes on this guy, and it was just kind of like for me to boost up my own ego. But like I wasn't humble enough to continue going to jiu-jitsu and build that character, right, that they really say it does test, so that's probably why I'm so shitty at this, the whole thing. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
No,
bro.
but like, huh?
You're gonna be, listen, my biggest tip, or you're gonna be shit for the first year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah,
I've been doing it, bro. I'm still shit. Like, yes, I have wins. Yes, I beat teammates. Yes, I know the game. I know the submissions. I know the takedowns. I'm still shit. You start calling yourself good once you're a brown belt or you're a black belt. That's it. You know what I mean? But it's
yeah,
just about consistency and all that. And I'm telling you right now, Buchecha, that guy is a 10-time ADCC champion. That is fucking insane. You don't like, for those who don't know, ADCC is a no gi. So jiu-jitsu's gi and no gi. No gi, you don't wear the traditional robe. It's a no gi. It's like a shirt and shorts. So that means takedowns much, much harder, less technical, more wrestling, and almost everyone does no-gi. And so if you're competing, I'm sure he's a black belt as well. So if you're competing at ADCC, you've won it 10 times nationally. That just proves you're one of the best grapplers in the UFC. He probably
yeah.
is top 10 grapplers in the UFC.
Yeah, and I think you're right because that heavyweight division kind of has that like where they're I don't know, they're not very active to say the least. But like some like that's why I love Josh Hokett, not because he's just entertaining, but also because he has that like pace at heavyweight that most people don't have, and so I think he's quite intelligent if I'm being honest with you. But yeah. Hey, do we have? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You said you're picking Marcus Buchecha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the same pick. I've okay. You know what? Fuck that. No, I'm gonna go with Ryan Spann. Never mind. I'm gonna go with Ryan
Yeah.
Spann. But I can see Marcus Buchecha easily winning over Ryan Spann. The only reason I'm giving it I'm picking Ryan Spann is because I think if he can keep it on the feet and if he's improved at all and taking his like career actually seriously this time, there's a possibility he can because I don't think Marcus Buchecha really has that. Like he hasn't figured out like how kind of like Aaron Pico. Apart from his
Mhm.
last performance, he didn't have that like he didn't mix the two, the grappling versus the striking really well together. And I think now he's figured out that thing. Speaking
Mhm.
of Aaron Pico, but I think Buchecha is like on his way there as well. So yeah, man. I think Ryan Spann just has like a lot of fights as well compared to Buchecha in terms of like MMA fights. So I think
Yeah.
there's a possibility he could win this fight, and that's what I'm kind of hanging my hat on, so to speak. Are there any other specific fights you want to go over? Because I was gonna touch a couple of them, but I also wanted to go over. 'Cause I don't know how much time you have. I wanted to go over a couple like newsworthy things as well.
Let's do the news. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 So I don't know if you heard, but apparently Ben Askren got signed to BKFC. Now there's obviously that like thing between Darren Till signing up with like
Mhm.
BKFC,
Mm.
and then him and like Mike Perry having that like storyline
Little
between like
beef.
them having wanting to have a fight together. Because Mike Perry was basically telling like Darren Till to come down to BKFC and have a match with him, and then Darren Till wasn't really about that life, and he said, "No, I'm not interested." And now he signed a big deal because he said he couldn't refuse it. And then Mike Perry apparently went to have this like fight with Nate Diaz. But the issue is that like if you look at the name, the guy who runs the BKFC, I forgot his name at the moment, but he's pretty upset because he said he had something lined up big for specifically Mike Perry, and I think what he had in mind was Darren Till versus Mike Perry in April. And then obviously Mike Perry, like Darren Till now has a fight against someone May 30th, and then obviously May 16th you have your Netflix fight card as well. So I just wanted to hear your take on like that whole thing. Do you think like Mike Perry is quote unquote ducking Darren Till, which I don't think is the case, or what are your thoughts on that?
Bro, Mike Perry talks the talk, but he doesn't really walk the walk, to be honest. I wouldn't say he's ducking. To be fair, when you're competing in fighting organizations like that, I think your number one priority is money. And obviously we can see that Netflix offered what's the organization?
Mike Perry MVP, yeah, from
MVP,
yeah,
yeah,
promotion.
there we go. MVP. We can see that probably MVP definitely offered Mike Perry a lot of like a shit ton of money
And
compared
it's a big platform as well.
to
Yeah,
BKFC.
yeah.
So he's not. I don't say he's ducking him. I don't think he's ducking Darren Till. Darren Till again, generational fighter, legend in my books. But he just got more money. So why would he not fight Nate Diaz? It's insane. So it's
Yeah.
nothing bad. I'm sure it's gonna happen eventually in the future, but I'd say just give it some time. It's gonna take a while until it forms.
I think the issue with Mike Perry and the BKFC promotion is that like he's been waiting for fights for like a long time because he was at one point he was fighting very very often, and then he's like the king of
Mm.
violence technically, holding that belt in the BKFC. But then like on top of that, Darren Till was doing his thing with Misfits, and then I get apparently he didn't re-sign with Misfits, or he's like decided to leave Misfits for the BKFC contract. Yeah, I don't know. It's like funny because Darren Till did a podcast, an interview, sorry, with Ariel Hawani,
Hmm.
and dude, he was like going at fucking Dana White, bro, like incredibly hard in the paint, so to speak. And
Just like
yeah, I
Ronda
don't know. Did you
Rousey.
hear that? Say again.
I said just like Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I have my own opinion on this, and so I've shared that on the channel. If any of
Yeah.
you haven't seen my videos on this stuff, definitely take a look at it. But I do think like I think Ronda Rousey's kind of retarded for the way she's approaching this. To be honest with you, yeah, I don't think this is the approach that she should be taking in terms of like building up the fight card, because the whole narrative behind MVP is like we're trying to like compete with UFC, blah 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 blah. But they could make more narratives around the fights themselves. Like you got fucking Gina Carano, who hasn't fought for like so many years, looking stunning at this point because she's
Yeah.
lost all this weight now and had that whole storyline. And then you have Ronda Rousey, who was gonna I don't think she was planning to come back to the MMA stuff, and like her whole grappling versus striking is like that's the storyline there that they can talk about. Is that does like Gina Carano have the takedown defense to keep Ronda Rousey on the feet, so to speak, and take it from there? I think that's the storyline that they should be focusing on more, the actual fights versus like the narrative of like, because like I don't know if you saw the last press conference, but like Nate Diaz didn't really want to say much about the whole thing about the UFC and bash the UFC, and neither did Mike Perry, and I think they're both not wrong for that because they both have their names because of fucking Mike Perry and because of fucking sorry, because of the UFC and stuff like that, and all of them like, dude, I don't know. I was gonna do like I'm like I'm dreading this, but I wanted to do like a response to Francis Ngannou's recent like interview with Brett Okamoto. But I've done like a few of these, and I just get really like wound up over like Francis Ngannou because I think he contradicts himself and he doesn't understand like what marketing is and how business like works. And so like he thinks that he's getting like all this money from these like boxing matches and stuff like that, but he's not genuinely earning them. It's just like the people who are running these shows have enough money to give him the money and to put him on the show itself. He's not like he himself earned it, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. No, perfectly said. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey just is some shit, and like she's fucking. Just let her shadow boxing speak for herself, bro. Have you seen her shadow boxing?
No, but I heard that she lied about something specifically to sell a book of hers. Should I pull it up real quick just to
Probably
verify
did,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Ronda Rousey. You good?
I said never been a fan of her either.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I was starting. She was starting to grow on me from the first one, and then after that, I was just like, nah. But I forgot who this creator is on YouTube who made an entire video. I haven't watched it yet, but he did an entire video basically saying Ronda Rousey like lied about one specific thing to sell her book or something. So I can't find it right now off the cuff, but what I'll do is I'll talk about it in the next one that we do. But real quick, I wanted to go into the next topic. So I don't know if you heard about this Joaquin Buckley versus like Sean Brady beef happening. Are you aware of it?
No.
No. Okay, so apparently like Joaquin Buckley and Sean Brady were at the PI,
Mm.
Performance Institute in Vegas, and Sean Brady was standing outside. Joaquin Buckley like walks up to him and said some stuff, and then basically like hollered at him or whatever. And Sean Brady was just like not having it, and so he did an interview with Perry Punch recently, and he was just like, the guy is like, first of all, lying about the entire story, Joaquin Buckley about Sean Brady, and it's just so crazy. Like their whole beef is just insane. Yeah, I mean Buckley is just trying to like sell the fight, so to speak. But do you have any thoughts on that matchup between Buckley and Brady? I think that's on the UFC 328 fight card.
Like, I like Buckley. I like how he fights. He's a freestyler. Obviously, he's very talented.
Yeah.
Sean Brady is who did Sean Brady lost to Talbot, right? Or who did he
No,
lose to?
Sean Brady lost to Michael Morales just
Michael
on that.
Morales.
Just real quick though on that, I think he was so stupid to take that fight because he was like number one contender after beating Leon Edwards, and then I don't know why he took that fight, but I think he just wanted to stay active, which is also a good point as well. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
he should take that fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that is true. So, fuck, I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a good fight. I'm not gonna lie with you. They're both really good, but Buckley is gonna clutch, bro. Brady's ahead of his time, way past his time.
yeah. I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you noticed this or you picked up on this as well. But I find Brady to be kind of like a little bit like fixed minded in certain ways, where if certain things don't go according to the way he wants them, he gets a little bit flustered. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no. He does. I agree.
Yeah, where you see Joaquin Buckley is more like be like water, like Bruce Lee, like he kind of goes with the flow. I mean, I
Yeah,
love the fact that Buckley even went with Kamar Usman and did some training sessions with him.
exactly. He's very open-minded.
Yeah, very open minded. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he's just trying to get his bag, and I think he's gonna do a good job. I mean, I seen
yeah.
him go up to Darren Till previously, and Khamzat Chimaev, and be like, "Yo, let me get that fight." I just thought that was pretty ballsy and pretty awesome. But dude, did you see Ilia Topuria? Like, sorry, you see Ilia Topuria just like say so much shit to Arman Tsarukyan and
Yeah,
all these
bro.
fucking
Yeah,
fighters. Dude, what are your thoughts on that? Dude, that was, and just for context, real quick. Go ahead, yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just say, just for context, real quick, Topuria basically went nuclear. He said, "I'm really impressed with how dumb Armin is, and he's a retard. He's dumb as fuck. Fuck Armin." He said, "Who cares about him? You're not even rich. You're spending your father's money. He's a fucking kid. He's not on my level." And then Sarukin, real quick, just for context, fired back a couple days later, saying that Topuria is basically jealous and addressing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's really funny. Arman was like, Arman was like, Ilya shaves his ass and his arms and his legs. Yeah,
Yo,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was pretty funny. I'm not
yo.
gonna lie.
Yeah, I
Fuck.
started
I
cracking
mean,
up. I was actually cooking when I heard that,
I
and I
know.
started cracking up, dude. I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?" And like at first, it sounded kind of like gay to me, and then I was like, "But it's funny as fuck because he's like be a real Georgian man."
Like, it's definitely, the tension is definitely building up, and we see how I think we're gonna get a fight between them really in a really, really soon time. Something tells me, something, I don't know why, but just something tells me Gaethje might pull out of the Freedom card and Arman's gonna replace him. Something, I just feel like it's gonna happen. Because the whole world is begging for Ilya versus Arman. The whole world. Nobody wants to see Ilya versus Gaethje. I'm sorry, Gaethje, I love you. Brother, you're gonna get rocked. Ilya's straight off of a divorce. He's genuinely gonna go, like, he's gonna go up to Gaethje and he's gonna, like, I lost the kids. Like, I lost custody. I'm sorry, you're gonna pay for this. He's gonna knock out Gaethje, you know what I mean? But, dude, Ilya and Arman's such a good matchup. It's so technical, and there's so much beef between both of them.
Yeah, so I did a like a so after the whole interview with Ariel Hawani that Topuria did, I actually did a breakdown of this, and I was showing basically like if you listen to the way he talks about Paddy Pimlet or he talks about
Mm.
fighting Islam Makhachev, like he's so confident, but when it came to him being asked about like Arman Tsarukyan, he almost like looked like he was a bit surprised at the question that Ariel brought up, and then also I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but like what do you think of the fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria being bigger than the fight against Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan? Like, which one do you think is bigger at the moment?
Definitely Ilya and Arman. Everyone knows if Ilya fights Islam, everyone knows if Ilya fights Islam, it's gonna be a hug fest from Islam Makhachev. That's all they do. Listen, they're Dagistanis, they're insane wrestlers, grew up doing sambo their whole lives. But look at the Islam and JDM. Literally, look at that fight. Everyone's like, oh, You know, JDM has Craig Jones in his corner, second best grappler in the world. Look how it turned out. You know, Khamzat Chimaev, same thing. I know Ilia is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He is a grappler as well. But
Yeah.
again, Islam is much bigger than Ilia. Much bigger than Ilia. A lot more muscle mass, taller. Nah. You want a good fight? You want a good fight between two really good strikers? Or, I mean, Ilya's a grappler, but he also strikes really well. You put him against Arman Tsarukyan. There's so much beef between both of them. It's almost like Connor and Dustin Poirier, or Connor and Jose. There's just so much build up and tension between the both that we just want to see him scrap. You know, it's not if you put Ilya and Islam, it's almost like you're doing it for a title. You're doing it to see who's best. You put Ilya and Arman, you're doing it to see who's actually the better fighter. Who's, you know, out of all this talk, all this smack, all this shit talking, who can back up, like, who's backing up their words, who's, you know, who's gonna prove they're the better fighter. So I think it's more logical for Ilya and Arman.
Okay, I'm gonna play a contrarian view here because I think we talked about this a little bit before, like we hit record on this today's episode. But I think it's more of like that purist view is like Armin versus Ilya, which I do like completely agree with you. By the way, I love that competitively as a purist, like seeing that matchup, and also even as like someone who's a casual who likes the hype train about the whole situation and the beef between the two of them. I think that's so fascinating. But I have to be honest with you. I also think like the Islam versus Ilia Topuria fight is massive. The only thing I don't like about that is that Ilia said that once he does that fight, that he's gonna go back to lightweight. Now, call me crazy. I do think I know you said that it's not really competitive for Islam. I do think you've seen more holes in Islam's fight game at lightweight than we have in Ilia Topuria's fight game at all. And so I do think that Ilia Topuria has a really big chance of like either knocking out Islam Makhachev or submitting him as well. So call me crazy, bro, but this is what I think. Also, I would love for this to happen where, like you said, Justin Gaethje gets taken out of like the White House card. They put in Arman Tsarukyan. They both have their fight. If Ilia wins, then Ilia fights against Islam Makhachev next. After Islam Makhachev defends and beats Ian Gary's ass, Ian Cherry, whatever his name is.
You, my friend, are a casual. You're a casual. You're a casual.
We should go on the Casuals podcast.
Oh, bro, no, you
No,
tripping.
I'm not disagreeing with you. The Arman Tsarukyan versus like Ilia Topuria, as a purist, I would love that matchup.
No. You're saying, hold on. You're saying right now that Ilya might knock out Islam or even submit Islam.
100%.
What are you on about? Genuinely, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No,
Bro,
seriously, I
it's
think
not.
that's
It's
possible.
not. No.
You could submit him, bro. You could submit him.
No. Look at all these fighters that said that JDM was gonna beat Islam. Islam fucking dominated JDM. Like not even beat him. He dragged his ass in that octagon.
Yeah, but here's what you're missing though. Before Ilya came into the UFC, he was primarily a grappler known for his grappling. And did you see that with Charles Oliver, the way he handled that?
Okay.
He responded immediately. You know what I mean?
But
Submission win, Ilia Topuria.
no, you're tripping because I think Islam has learned a lot. Islam has fought
Yeah, you're right. I'm
like
not
Islam has
disagreeing on that.
fought all the greatest fighters that the UFC has seen, but
But
Ilya
I
is
feel
not gonna
like,
beat Islam.
sorry, real quick. I just feel like, okay, if you compare the two side by side, right? Islam has like more of like a full rounded skill set, but look at like Khabib, like he was super dominant in his fights. That same dominance, I don't see that from Islam Makhachev for the most
All
part.
due respect, all due respect to Khabib. I do love him. He's such a great fighter. Who did he
Yeah,
dominate though? Like going back, who did he actually dominate? Edison Barboza, sure. Like
yeah.
Dustin Poirier. That fight was the closest we've ever seen to like that was the closest Khabib's ever come to losing. He was gonna submit him that guillotine choke. He literally
Mm,
had it. You know what I mean? But you look
yeah.
at Islam's record: Charles Oliveira, Volk, who else?
But that was a competitive fight
JDM.
between Volk and him in the first one.
That was the
First one was
best
very
fight. I
competitive.
mean, dare I say it was a robbery, and it's to me it's my favorite fight of all time. That's my
Hmm.
go-to, rewatch. And I do
Yeah.
believe in all my heart that Volk did win that fight in all my heart, and stand by it. Volk won that fight.
Okay, I like you more now.
But again, you do have a point, right? Because look how Ilya fucking dominated Volk when they fought. You know what
Well,
I
that was
mean?
my
Like,
thing.
not
Yeah,
dominated, but he knocked him out stone cold, knocked out Max Holloway, who's never been knocked out before, knocked out Charles Oliveira in the first round. He is a really good fighter and a grappler, a striker, insane skill set. Islam Makhachev, though, I'm telling you, he's him.
he's him. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they make that matchup and Islam does win. Like, I would be like, yeah, fair play. And I also think like you're also right about one more thing as well, because like going up to welterweight, like welterweight for Ilia Topuria is really not his weight class, and so I think he kind of loses his like allure and his like aura going to welterweight. And I think it would be really fucked up as well, to be honest with you, if he ends up like winning that fight against Islam Makhachev, like I'm suggesting, and then comes back down to lightweight. Like we're gonna have another like weight class in shambles, kind of like when we first did our video and we were talking about this stuff. And like now you see, like I know we haven't spoken since this happened, but like the Carlos Arberg versus like Yuri Prohashka fight and the way that ended out, the way that sort of came about, and like the whole situation with that, like dude, now like light heavyweight is now in shambles, and so it would be the same thing with. I mean, honestly, I'm a little bit frustrated with the whole welterweight division right now. I feel like I don't understand why they're not putting Islam Makhachev in a fight against either Michael Morales. I'm not really a big fan of Ian Cherry, but if they want to give it to Ian Cherry, that's fine. Yeah, Colin would be pissed off right now if he was on this.
Yeah.
What are your what other fights are you looking forward to? Because I know we have quite a few really good fights coming up over the next like 3 weeks or whatever.
Carlos Prats and JDM for sure.
That's what I was gonna say as well. Yeah.
For
So, what are
sure.
your thoughts on that fight? Just like
I
early
think
prediction.
Carlos Prats has it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think Carlos Prats. He's JDM, bro. JDM got a lucky win over Bilal. I love my boy Bilal, but he's not that good. Another example of fighters switching up their techniques. Bilal's a great wrestler, insane wrestler, but he wanted to show the fans I'm not as boring as you guys call me. So he decided to strike, and look what that got him. Bilal, you should have stuck to your wrestling, stuck to your roots, and you could have still had that belt. Or not really, because Islam's coming for that belt anyways.
I mean, call me crazy if you want, but I actually didn't think Bilal was like a boring fighter. In fact, if anything,
He
I
isn't.
actually found, I thought his fight was exciting, man. Yeah, and then and then obviously after that one, so we have that one on May 2nd, the Madalena versus like Prates, and then the next one is Chimaev versus Strickland. That Chimaev, that card is stacked, dude. Like, really
Dude,
fucking.
you know my answer to that.
Chimaev.
You know my answer. You know my answer. You know, I hate to say it, but fuck me, that guy's gonna destroy him.
Did you hear what? Did you see what Strickland said? He's gonna beat him with baking grease oil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I just think he's an insane motherfucker. That's why.
It's easier. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because sometimes like Twitter just comes up with, breaking news: Yahya Rodriguez versus Gene Silva is targeted for UFC 329 at International Fight Week. Bro, this International Fight Week card is looking legit, like dope as
Dude,
fuck.
it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the best card of the entire year.
Most likely.
Yeah. So that's been rumored. There's a lot of fights on that IFW card that's been rumored as well. And then the Arman Tsarukyan footage of like him having that backstage issue with Bobby Green and slapping Bobby Green, that's kind of resurfacing on X right now. And apparently Jan Blachowicz had to have surgery on his leg, which is kind of fucked up. I don't know if you saw that or you're aware of it. Hey, let me share it with you real quick. But yeah, booyah! Look at this, Jan Blachowicz, the Polish power. Yeah. I think he's cool as fuck. Honestly, I just think he's got like a.
Love him.
Since he lost the title, he's had like unfortunate circumstances. He's a good happen. Yeah. Dude, do you have X yet, or you're not on X? No. Nah. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Anyways, I think we should wrap it up. So yeah, if any of you want to go ahead and subscribe, feel free to subscribe. Leave us a comment down below. Give us a like on this podcast. That helps us really like help grow the channel and continue creating content and putting it out there as well. Mo, do you have anything to say before we?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Kaz is a casual for picking Ilya over Islam. But stay tuned for more vids. We're hyped. There's going to be a lot of fights, insane fights in the upcoming weeks. So we're for sure going to do some pause about that. So yeah, just stay tuned and subscribe.
Thank you. Come again.
Yep.